Okay, welcome. Welcome to this distillation, this digestion of clean action from karma loops to living love. This is this week's integration pack for tantric studies, exploring Tantra Illuminated by Christopher Harish Wallace, and it was chapter 66. So if you're currently dealing with second-guessing every decision, chasing good outcomes or avoiding bad ones, this integration question and the greater pack and this discussion is for you. I feel you, buddy. I totally get it. I know how frustrating it can be. Stuck inside all day, a whole world out there crying for your attention. The reflection that sparked it explored the impurity of action. How attachment and aversion keep us bound to karmic loops. So I don't know if you've experienced this, buddy, but so for context, I'm currently playing with Miko, our cat, simultaneously. And he's being very playful and very coy, wanting my attention by ignoring my attention. So here I am, I'm setting up my space. Thank you, Tiffany, for these delightful puzzle mats that have really elevated my movement practice. I was confined to my yoga mat for the last decade, but more so the last year, 2 years actually. I've been traveling since 2022 and my practice has in ways felt limited, but in other ways felt expansive, and therein lies the duality of this. This practice that I'm doing now is from this morning's shoulders and arms practice. I was doing a lot of handstand today, and that's where this practice continues. I start with a bit of floor mobility just to get my body moving, but I end up really focusing on handstands, which was great because I haven't done that in a long time because it's caused me a lot of pain. And there it is, thank you. I've been suffering the karmas of a decade plus of practicing unconsciously, or not as consciously as I could have done. I've been ignoring a lot of pain and I'm still suffering for it in many ways. And how our attachment and aversion keeps us bound to karmic loops. How this sense of remembering our innate completeness loosens that knot. So attachment and aversion keep us bound to our karmic loops. Attachment to needing something we don't currently have, or aversion to something we have which we believe we shouldn't, and in doing so would make us better, like more divine, more whole, more complete. And that's never true, because our innate completeness is ever present. We can't not be complete. We can't not be whole. We can't not be a divine expression, even at our most human. When we exhibit our most humanity, we're still residing in our innate divinity. And we forget that. We forget that. That is the primary impurity. The primary impurity of individuation. Hey buddy, I Need you to stay out of this space, okay? That's your boundary. Is that okay with you? Yeah, thank you. Okay. So here doing some straddle pancakes. I really notice it in my groin, which never used to be true. I used to be able to straddle so effortlessly, and that's not true right now. I feel the tightness in my back, my hamstrings, my legs. Something to address there. So I've moved on to seated to combat base. Almost funny, but not quite, I'm afraid. And shifting from one side to the other. Opening into hip mobility. See, none of this was a problem for me. I think that's probably why I'm doing it, because it was so effortless and easy, and it didn't cause me any pain. If you're experiencing pain when you move, know the difference between soreness and achiness and injurious pain. You know, it's important to know that difference. I've come to find in my journey of healing through my karmas. Yes, so back to this. In Tantra, it's the root of an action. The root of an action, the identity it springs from, that determines bondage or freedom, not the fruit, what happens after. So is what you're doing coming from the right place with the right view, or is it not? And it's not, is it coming from the right place or is it having the right outcome? It's not that. It's not about the fruit. It's not about the outcome. It's not about what happens. That's the primary concern. You can still not have the best interests at heart, but inverted commas, the good or best thing happen. It's not about the fruit. It's about the root. It's about the identity it springs from. And this, in essence, in Tantra, being this sense of removal of the impurity of individuation. And what that means in English is stop thinking you're separate from anything, anyone, or any time else. Remembering that everything you perceive is a part of you because it's your consciousness, which means that thing which looks separate is actually expressing itself through you. You're experiencing it, and so it is a part of you. It can't not be. The integration question. Here I am. The intention of this movement practice was to listen to the teachings and let my body digest them as I moved. Not stuck in one position, but letting it hit all parts of me. And so I'm writing down thoughts, writing down notes. And this is what I do in my morning practice as well. I have a journal instead, and I'm writing down the thoughts that come to mind as I reflect on that day's integration question, which leads me to this integration question for resolving karmas or breaking. Whoa! Don't know if you heard that. Thunder. Delights of Mexico City. Integration question. Where today are you about to do something to become complete or avoid feeling impure, incomplete, not enough, not good enough? And what changes if you first rest as the one who needs nothing added or subtracted, then act from that fullness? Where today are you about to do something to become complete? Where are you doing it for the wrong reasons? Where are you doing it to add or remove from yourself because you don't think you're sufficient, or you think there's something wrong with you? Stop, pause, press pause, take a breath. Realize that's not true. That doesn't mean you don't have to do that thing, or doing that thing isn't beneficial. You're still able to. It's just check if it's done purely for the joy of doing that thing, kriya, or karma, action done for a particular expected outcome. 2-minute root check. Arrive. Hands to heart, soften jaw. Name one sensation. Warmth, tightness, discomfort, tightness, hips. Cat. And name one sensation. Name a sense. Sight, cat. Sight, laptop. Sound, thunder. Taste, neutral. Touch, the coolness of the wooden floor, the laminate floor. Remember, whisper, nothing to add, nothing to remove. Feel that possibility in the body. Nothing to add, nothing to remove. I feel like something's lost now. Anyway, I'll take you back. Okay, so I'm going to do a 2-minute. Let's see if I can orchestrate this. A 2-minute root check. Okay. I've got 30 seconds to prep for this. So sit comfortably if you're sitting down. Lie down if that feels preferable. I'm currently sat up against a wall, elevated hips. Invitation to soften the gaze as you remain neutral. Or to just close the eyes. To allow the awareness to come in. For the next 30 seconds, take your hands to heart, soften your jaw, and name one sensation. Arrive. For the next 30 seconds, whisper either to yourself or out loud. Nothing to add, nothing to remove. Feel that possibility in the body. Remember, nothing to add, nothing to remove. For the next 30 seconds, ask yourself, is this impulse from fear or validation, or from natural kindness? Reveal the root. And for the next 30 seconds, if it's fear, pause or translate the need. If it's kindness, proceed. Enjoy the results without clinging. Track. And if if you are in that space and want to stay, you're more than welcome to enjoy the stillness, even without the silence. If you're making your way back out, maybe the eyes peel open, you wiggle fingers and toes, you start to play with life again. Whatever that means to you, engage the senses, play with life. Yeah. Okay. Playing with a cat whilst trying to record an audio, whilst trying to watch a video, whilst trying to read an integration pack and digest its meaning. There's a lot going on there. We're really operating optimally, possibly. I would say it's being taken in, and this is why I have now a mantra as part of this integration. Purna Shanti, wholeness, peace. Focus, feeling. Focus on wholeness. Feel the peace that remembering brings. Purna Shanti. Repeat this mantra whenever you feel like you need it, whenever you feel like you're suffering, whenever you feel like you're about to make a decision. Remember Purna Shanti, wholeness, peace, and inquire if it's coming from a place of wholeness, a place of peace, or a place of dis-ease. Purna means full, complete, nothing lacking. Shanti means peace, ease, and rest. So repeating Purna Shanti entrains attention to the felt sense of completeness first, peace second. This 2-beat rhythm calms reactive prana, the push-pull of attachment, aversion, and clears the subtle channels, the nadis. So action rises from center rather than compulsion. Over time, the body learns the message. When I move as completeness, peace follows, and karma loosens its grip. Purna, Purna. I want to roll my R because I'm learning Spanish, but Purna Shanti, I believe, is closer to what I've heard from Harish. Purna Shanti. Purna Shanti. There's not a R. There's a Purna Shanti. Hey. Thank you. Teaching the cat boundaries, it's fascinating. Okay, so the 2-beat rhythm, Purna Shanti, and calms energy and clears our internal channels. What am I doing in the video? Okay, rings, mobility. I've got rings in both hands, and I'm trying to find where my body needs to compensate from a lengthened spine. And I'm just breathing into the expansiveness as I do so. Okay, Purna Shanti, Purna Shanti, Purna Shanti. Remember fullness and allow that to create your peace. So you don't need anything, and you don't need to take anything away for you to be the fullest expression of your divinity. Now, here's the caveat. There are 5 powers of action. Emission, stasis, dissolution, concealment, and revelation. And so whilst you're always fully expressing your divinity, sometimes its fullness is concealed. And what's required is for you to reveal, remember, express your fullness, one's fullness. Okay, so Tantra says you don't become pure by adding trophies or avoiding stains. You recognize the purity that was never lost. The impurity of action shows up as attachment and its mirror image, aversion. So they're not different, they're opposite ends of the same spectrum. Attachment is a grabbing for something, and aversion is kind of like a throwing it away, like being as far away, pushing it away as you can. Both assume that there's an incompleteness and that reality needs to be managed for everything to be okay. Hey buddy, that's not okay. Thank you, that's a boundary. The impurity of action shows up as attachment and its mirror image, aversion. Okay, so let's boundaries, please. So I was strict with the cat and set a boundary and said, you can't cross this space. You shall not pass. And used my arms as a barrier, and it didn't upset him, but obviously it impacted him. Good work, buddy. Yeah, you get that mouse. Still trying to figure out how he likes to play. Like sometimes he wants to get it, but sometimes he doesn't. When you remember nothing need to be added to make me complete, nor removed to make me pure, action becomes service rather than self-maintenance. So the action that I did of asserting these boundaries, it came out of service rather than say self-maintenance. Did it though? It's not that I want him to not have fun. It's that the laptop and the equipment is valuable, and as much as I don't want him to hurt himself by crashing into it, I also don't want the laptop to get damaged or the video to get corrupted. And that's not coming from an attachment to stuff, though it could possibly be. It's coming from a place of I'm enjoying this space and what I'm doing, and I'm allowing you to be in exchange with me. I know I'm not giving you my full attention, but I'd rather give you... Well, that's a really interesting question. Would you rather have someone's full attention or no attention at all? You know, are you okay with having someone's 20% attention because it's more than nothing? And even though it's not their 100% attention, if they could give you more, they would give you more. And so there's this... Enjoy it. Okay. Crucially, karma binds the doer identity. If you stop being the one who acted from lack, the old karma has nowhere to stick. Okay, so I've got weights here, and I'm using the rings as kind of as a check to see any imbalances between left and right side. and seeing how the weight impacts where the ring sits and how it moves, and essentially trying to not let it move. It's on the end of the dumbbell, so I'm definitely not trying to make it fall off, but I'm trying to keep a balance between the two. I'm trying to find a neutral spine. That's what I'm looking for in the mirror. I'm trying to engage my back without compromising my spine. So activating the muscles of my shoulder rather than of my spine, as is the focus of today's practice. Tomorrow gets to be spine. And what I find is a challenge for me to engage the back muscles of the shoulder without compromising the neutrality of the spine. I'm trying to not let the imbalance throw me off. Using mobility, movement, locomotion of the arms whilst keeping the rest of the body pretty static. Yes, I know my head turned to the side does add an imbalance. Vanity, but then didn't get the better of me. It's not vanity. That's unfair of me to say. Whilst I do enjoy my physique and appreciate it, what I was doing in that moment was coming from a pure place of wanting to understand how I'm playing rather than was it because I'm trying to add anything or take anything away? It's a really interesting question. Did I see myself as less in that moment? Like, I want my spine to be straight. It's not okay that it is. Am I doing it for joy or doing it for purpose? And remember, it's not the fruit that matters. So it's not the outcome of whether or not I get a lengthened spine or my nice straight line handstand. It's, am I doing that because I think being able to do a handstand will make me better than I am, make me different, and that can be good, but it doesn't make me better because I'm already perfectly whole. It doesn't add anything to me. It simply provides a different string for me to bow. Why is this so important? Let's explore it. How do you stop collecting karma and start acting from wholeness? Here's the simple but spicy truth my morning handed me. Attachment and aversion are just two costumes for the same play. I'm not complete yet. Who else is playing out that play? I'm not complete yet. I'm playing with these two foundational costumes, but everything that exists in between. One clings, the other flinches. Where on the spectrum of that are you? What behaviors are you doing? What costumes are you wearing that's demonstrating this clinging, this flinching? The upgrade, remembering I'm already the sky. I missed a bit. So one clings, the other flinches, but both keep me orbiting the same karmic sun. The upgrade, remembering I'm already the sky. Nothing to add, nothing to remove. When I move from that, my actions stop feeling sticky. Think of it like gardening. Thank you. It's the root of, if the root is fear, the fruit tastes anxious, even when it looks good. If the root is love, the fruit can be sweet or sour and still be dinner. Oh. Just because it looks tempting doesn't mean the taste is beneficial for you. Even when it looks good, the fruit tastes anxious. If the root is love, the fruit can be sweet or sour and still be dinner. So it doesn't matter what the fruit tastes like. Maybe I should just explain. Buddy, so I'm still working. I've got maybe half an hour left, see how long it takes me. No more than half an hour. During that time, I want to be giving you some of my attention, some of my affection, some of my playfulness, but I know it's not going to be to the extent that it could be if I gave you my full attention. I'm trying to multitask. And the reason that I'm not giving my work my full attention is because, one, I do enjoy your company. Two, I know how attached to Tiffany you are. And if spending more time with me helps you feel less anxious and more grounded to not be around her, then I feel there's value in that. I know you love her a lot, more than you can express. You just wail on her, towards her, in her general direction. And you don't need her. You don't need to add anything. You're perfect as you are. Oh, that panged something in me. I feel like that's a story that I grew up with, this you're perfect as you are. And what does one mean by perfect? This is the challenge of language. One word that someone uses can have a completely different meaning to one word that someone other uses. And the old, but what about my past karma? Tantra is kind here. It doesn't demand joyless duty. It says, ask me to check the soil, not to get lost in the fruit. Let me check the soil. Let me check the soil. I'm allowed to enjoy the fruits, and it's okay if they taste sour. Bondage isn't about pleasure or enjoy. It's not about pleasure, the sensory experience, regardless of whether it's sweet or sour. Is about motive. So in finding the motive, sweet and sour can both be pleasurable. It depends on the fruit, and it depends on our karmic scars. If I stop being the person who needs those patterns, they can't find me. Liberation isn't a never-ending detention. I digest what I need, learn, and keep dedicating this little wave back to the ocean. Okay. Liberation isn't a never-ending detention. It is possible in the tantric system to arrive in liberation. in varying gradations of liberated. And final revelation is the removal of these in 3 impurities, and ultimately the first impurity of individuation, believing oneself to be separate. The divine method is that, in 3 beats, offer, remember wholeness. Remember wholeness. Empower. Choose the clean route over the clever result. Embody. Act. Then let go. If someone else is involved, I align dictionaries first. What do they mean by care and respect? That alone can turn karma, drama into conversation. Oh, okay. Need to unpack this. I feel like there's a lot going on there. So the divine method, to resolve the impurity of individuation, which then has a knock-on effect and eventually leads to the dissolution of the karmic binds we're attached to, has 3 beats. Offer, remember wholeness. Just remember. And all you need to do to remember, Purna Shanti, wholeness, peace. Wholeness, peace. Purna Shanti. Empower. Choose the clean route over the clever result. Choose the clean route. Before taking action, consciously decide the belief at the heart of that action. So actions are fueled by emotions which are inspired by thoughts which are manifested in beliefs, ultimately. So at any one time, we can either hold a belief or a truth. The difference being, a belief is a proxy for truth in the absence of it. Truth is sensory experience, essentially pleasure or pain, depending where on the spectrum you find yourself. Whatever it is the somatic, felt experience that you're having. That is truth, and that is embodied. Belief is what you choose to hold in your consciousness before actually experiencing it. So for example, you could read all about learning to drive. Read everything there is to know about driving. Watch all of the driving, racing, movies. Become educated to the extreme. Spend all of your time on YouTube watching driving videos, people driving, talking about driving, everything. But until you drive a car for yourself, you will not know truly what that experience is like. You might have an idea, but also that idea is infinitely different to the truth of having that experience. You can read everything there is to know about having sex, but until you have sex, you have no idea what it is that you've been missing, what you are experiencing. You can't put it into words, you can only experience it. The same with love. You can think you're in love, but until you're actually in it, everything is just an approximation, just a guess, just a belief. And in that belief, you get to choose. that choice of that belief inspires the words that we use. Those words that we use about and in relation to a belief or a desired truth and a desired, lived, embodied sensory experience, those words fuel action. Those words, inspire emotions, feed emotions. Because thoughts and emotions aren't separate in Tantra, they're opposite ends of the same spectrum, inextricably linked. Can't have a thought without a feeling or a feeling without a thought. Okay, so here I'm using my shoulder mobility, seeing where I'm limited, and it wasn't with that bridge, it's the arm overhead. It's a wheel. The wheel is where my limitation lies. I haven't done wheel pose in a very long time because of the shoulder, the core, the hip flexor, all of it. So here I'm trying to lift my elbows whilst trying not to compromise my spine. Finding it challenging, especially my neck. My neck wants to go into very strange positions. These emotions that we have based on the thoughts that we entertain manifest the belief and the reality that we hold or desire to hold, because our emotions then fuel our actions. And if the belief has come from something other than I am already whole, I don't need anything added, and I don't need anything removed, then the action is karmic, and so carries a debt, carries a scar. Good job, buddy. Sometimes he's too quick for me. Embody, act, then let go. If someone else is involved, I align dictionaries first. What do they mean by care or respect? That alone can turn karma drama into conversation. So, the words we use point to the beliefs we hold, but we're not always consciously aware of the beliefs we hold. And they don't necessarily come from a conscious place. They can come from a place of feeling separate, feeling hurt, feeling pain, feeling inadequate, feeling incomplete, feeling not good enough. Taking a moment to remember that's not true, to see that that person is simply a reflection of ourself, because they're appearing in our consciousness, so how could they not be us? And that whatever they are doing, you are actually doing. You're just doing it, showing yourself through that individual. It's essentially you trying to tell yourself something. That's essentially what an argument is, hey, I'm trying to tell you something, you're not understanding me, I'm really wanting to be understood, even if I'm not agreed with. And we can get to the root of where our disagreement is, where our dictionaries are misaligned, because ultimately we hold the same truth, we hold the same value. Ah, Ninja Kitty in action here. And that's love, that's union, that's wholeness, that's togetherness, that's it's interesting because togetherness implies two-ness or separateness, but therein lies the tantric paradox. It's both one and two. You are individual, yes, but also don't forget that there is a greater truth beyond your individuality, which is the wholeness. And that's the impurity. This question matters because it interrupts the autopilot of do it to feel complete. By pausing to sense your body and name the motive, you move from managing outcomes to trusting essence. That one shift collapses a lot of reactivity. Suddenly you're not bargaining with reality, you're participating in it. Exploring it also opens kinder relationships. When action comes from wholeness, you can translate needs instead of defending identities. You enjoy good fruits without clinging and face tough fruits without self-blame. Practically, more peace in your chest, cleaner boundaries in your calendar, and decisions that feel like you, because they are. Thank you for joining me on this journey. There is 3 minutes left. I'm going to let it be in silence. I'm going to play with the cat in the interim. Purna Shanti, wholeness, peace. Thank you, friends.